Hey guys, welcome back to the series I'm Turning 30. My name is Mitch, and this is a series where I talk about my life, whether that's stuff that's happened in my past, stuff that's happening in present, things that will happen in the future, or a mixture of all three, or a couple of them. And as you can see today, I'm going to be talking about social media. Now, obviously, social media is a fairly new thing. The very first popular social media place that people would gather that were in my generation, or at least close to it, was MySpace. While I did have a MySpace, it wasn't very well used, and I'm not sure if my page or anything even really exists anymore. I did just do a little bit of research, and it looks like MySpace is some type of like music page now. So MySpace doesn't even exist. The pages don't exist for people, at least how they used to. I don't think, unless there's just somewhere else that they've been placed. But even when MySpace was a thing, I didn't really get it. I think I was too young to really understand why people had it and wanted to kind of do it. It was more of a, oh, people are doing it, so I'll make one, but I just never used it or put anything on it. And then a few years later, we have Facebook. Now, Facebook came out, I believe, in 2007, but I didn't start using it until late 2008. It was about winter time. I had just moved to a new city with my family, and I got Facebook because many of the kids at the school that I moved to had Facebook. Now, this was in the early days of Facebook when there were no advertisements that I can really remember. There was just, you would see your friends' posts, and it was just like a digital messaging board between people that you knew. This was back in the day when Facebook was really the only one around, the only one that was really doing like a social media site, and the one that obviously blew up into the giant corporation that it is today. But it wasn't used by the older generation at all. It was mainly just used by kids because it was really like the first big social media networking site. And I remember it became a point where I was using Facebook and I felt the need to post this status almost every single day, regardless of what was going on, how I felt, what had happened during those days. I posted something, whether it was a one word or kind of a longer sentence type of status. So I still have Facebook. I don't have the notifications turned on, but sometimes I'll open up the app, and sometimes you'll go on and you'll see that you have a notification for when certain things have happened. Now, there's no specific post that I've looked at or seen or I can remember that's like overtly embarrassing or why did I post it, but you do see certain things that you post and you're like, why did I post that? Wasn't funny or wasn't helpful or like informative in any way. Like, just typing bleh as a status, like, why did I decide that I needed to post it? Like, why was I so fixated on posting every single day? And then as Facebook got more and more popular, pages started developing where you could like certain things, like different pages or things that you related to, whether that was, oh, hey, this person made a page for chocolate chip cookies. Hey, I like chocolate chip cookies. Now the page didn't like post anything, but you just like liked this thing that said I like chocolate chip cookies or something like that. And then if we fast forward about a decade or even less, those pages started to have the ability to post and advertised, and their posts would show up on your feed. When in reality, I was in middle school and just liking things that I actually liked in real life, not to get advertisements or them sharing these memes related to some random thing. It also happens where these pages, they made pages that didn't expect it either, started getting traction because the amount of people that were following them, and then they would change their name to something completely different, and then I'm getting these unrelated things that I never liked in the first place because the page decided to change their name. This might sound confusing if you don't know what I'm talking about, but for those of you that do know what I'm talking about, it is very odd when you just see a page that you've liked when you really liked it like a decade ago and it wasn't ever posting anything, and then all of a sudden you're just seeing this page pop up and shilling advertisements to you. I want to talk about that point because I just think it's kind of interesting, and that's like a part of the way that social media evolved. Again, nobody really knew that that would happen. Not even Facebook really knew that would happen. There were just these things that you could like, and there was nothing attached to them. And just based off of people who originally made the pages or got like a certain thing popular, they have this entire page where they can advertise and get money off those things, and that's like a crazy thing to me, I think. Now, I'm not going to talk about every single social media app, but I felt like talking about kind of where I started social media was important. Obviously, as you go on, we had Twitter, Instagram. You could call YouTube a social media site that was very old and has integrated more type of social media-esque type things into its platform. Obviously, right now the biggest social media site is TikTok. That's what most of Gen Z uses right now. And the thing is people never have stopped trying to make social media sites. There are social media sites for very specific groups and things and who you are as a person and places that you can go. No matter what you believe or who you are, there is probably a site or a messaging board or something that you can go to speak to people that are in the same situation as you for pretty much everything. Hell, I think it was this year that Threads got announced. Like, even like the major companies, like, they have social media sites already, but they want other social media sites that replicate other social media sites. So as you can tell, there are many places that you can go and share your experience or where you can relate to people. And it doesn't seem like that's going to stop anytime soon. The big companies keep making or trying to make very big social media apps, and new smaller ones get created for people that are in different smaller groups or only want to talk about one specific thing. The social media sites keep on getting created and people keep talking about whatever it is they're interested in on whatever their preferred site was. Mine for a long time was Twitter. Now I guess it's YouTube because I'm doing this. I do have some TikToks that I've posted. I've pretty much posted on every single social media site that's ever existed, but while I do have many different social medias that I can check, I'm much more of a lurker now and don't really post that often. As proof of that, since I came to Japan over a year ago, I've actually only posted once. Even though I've taken a lot of pictures, I posted a lot of times on my story, like a 24-hour thing, just a quick thing that I can kind of just toss on there. But to make like a curated post where I select certain photos that I want to be on my timeline, it's just too much work. I just don't want to deal with it. I don't think I've posted on Facebook in a couple of years. I think it's been a while. I posted on Twitter quite a bit, but again, since pretty much the rebrand and a little bit before then, I wasn't really posting on Twitter all that often. I don't really make many TikToks anymore. Every once in a while, I'll make a TikTok if I see an interesting video that I can stitch. If there's a type of voice acting challenge, sometimes I'll do voice acting challenges on my TikTok. Or if I can think of a video that's better for really short form content, then I would post it on TikTok as well. Not that I have many of those, but if I did, I would post it on there. And then anything else that I didn't mention, I probably don't use that much at all. Besides YouTube, where I post a video every single week. Now let's stop with the overview and kind of history of the apps. Maybe you need a quick recap, but let's talk about how they affected me. Now, overall, I would say social media has probably been a more negative than positive experience. Going all the way back to the start, even on Facebook, like I said, I got it when I moved to a new school, but many people from my previous neighborhood started to get social media when I moved. And even though I was now moved in a way and I thought I would never see these people that I really moved away from that I wasn't really friends with but knew, I started to get friend requests from them on Facebook. Now, as a teenager, it's like social media wasn't around, you didn't really get it. It was a place to kind of add people that you knew. So even though I wasn't friends with these people per se, I added them on Facebook because I knew who they were, and that just kind of seemed what Facebook was for in my eyes. And this is where the kind of first negative experiences came from, is you would post something and these people that didn't like you would kind of start harassing you. And this isn't just to me, and it's not like I even got like very much of it, but definitely was received at some point. But people started getting these negative interactions on things that they would post by people that didn't like them. And it was the same for me. These people posted on things that I posted and would harass me necessarily or call me things. And something that was actually wholesome from that interaction, even though I was getting harassed, is that new people that I met around the school that I was at came to my defense on Facebook. So I got to see, I feel like kind of the start of like the online back and forth of people trying to say mean things across a screen and then getting defended for it as well. So I got to see both sides. If we are strictly talking about online harassment, the only online harassment I've ever really gotten from social media, at least that I can remember, is the Facebook thing. That was the only time that it really ever happened in a big way. Now, if we just go to any type of interaction, not online, not necessarily harassment, but just interactions that I've had like in real life, social media has caused me to have some of the most negative, if not traumatic, sad, bad experiences that I've ever had. whether that comes from me unfriending somebody, somebody unfriending me posting something on a social media site and somebody seeing it that didn't like it. There have been a plethora of things that people have confronted me about that either I've done or I've confronted people about things that they've done that have led to just negative experiences overall, or misunderstandings, or certain types of trust levels to be affected in the process. And now I don't really want to share any of those, but this video mainly was just to say, like, the reason I don't post on social media often is because I feel like a lot of the times when I do, and part of the reason that I wanted to make this series in general was for people to understand me better, because I feel like posting on the text walls and things without my voice, my face, doesn't get the same points across or the same feelings across. When I am saying them, it sounds much different. It feels much different to people, at least I hope it does, than them reading a text or a tweet or a post or whatever on a social media site. But yeah, that's the reason I don't really post on like text social medias anymore with anything, or post pictures of things that I do a lot of the time, unless it's on my Instagram story, is because a lot of the times that I do, all it takes is me to remember these negative interactions of things that I've either posted or photos that I've shown and people reacting negatively. And even though it was like a positive experience for me or something that I needed to kind of get off my chest, the people reacting negatively that confronted me about it in a not healthy way really made it so I didn't want to share my life. And again, that's why I wanted to make this series, to really air things out, put things out in the open. Like, this is where I stand, this is who I am. I am this person, and social media sites have not allowed me to do it in the way that I want to in text form. It just doesn't feel right, which is why I'm reverting to Old Faithful and posting YouTube videos back like I did when I was a teenager and wanted to just make silly, random, goofy stuff and talk about silly, random, goofy stuff and lighthearted topics, but sometimes serious ones. But yeah, I don't know, I'm rambling. So that's going to be it for this video. Again, hopefully it all made sense this week. I don't really use social media, don't really see myself using it much going forward, except to post maybe YouTube videos or make content every now and then, unless for some reason I became a full-time content creator and really wanted to focus on that. Kind of don't see myself really putting myself out there and really being on social media that often. Again, I'm fine like lurking and checking it, but just constantly being around on it, it's just not for me. But thanks once again, guys, for tuning to the series I'm Turning 30. My name's Mitch. I hope you learned something about me, and I'll see you again very soon. Peace.